What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Excerpt Challenge, where today we're going to change it up just a little bit, and we're going to do some jazz.
People still listen to jazz? Yeah? Jazz. Hey, jazz. Okay, you make up the notes, make jazz, some jazz.
Can we roll the title sequence? My name is Chris, and I'm one of the trumpet players for Tuba and Brass. And as the winner of the previous Excerpt Challenge, it's now my turn to inflict a new excerpt upon all of my fellow bandmates. And so I thought I'd change things up today and do something a little different. We usually do classical orchestral excerpts, and seeing as jazz is becoming more and more commonly called on auditions, especially military, I thought it'd be a nice change of pace to select a jazz tune. And for today's selection, I've chosen Clifford Brown's Joy Spring. Before we begin, let's go over the rules really quickly. So, each member of the quintet has 5 minutes, and 5 minutes only, to work up selected excerpts and perform them, kind of like an audition. After reviewing everyone's final performance of the excerpt, I will select a winner who will act as the judge for the next excerpt challenge. Since I've selected a jazz excerpt, I've elected to have each member of the quintet play along to a backing track, just so that they can't get away with going too slowly. So let's see how they all hang with this new added challenge. Before we get into the competition, let's talk a little bit about today's selection. Joy Spring was written by Clifford Brown and recorded in 1954 in Los Angeles at Capitol Records. The recording that is famous now on Max Roach's album is actually one of just 2 takes that they took at Capitol Records. The title Joy Spring is actually the pet name that Clifford Brown had for his wife, Emma LaRue Anderson, who was actually a student at the University of Southern California. Since all 5 members of the quintet did their graduate studies at the University of Southern California, we feel like we have a special connection to this piece. I'll show you how I play Joy Spring. Alright, so now begins the fun part of the Excerpt Challenge, which is the actual judging of the excerpt. So, we're going to start today with the lowest instrument, the tuba, Mr. Cam the Man, and we're going to go in ascending order: trombone, French horn, and trumpet. I'll be listening for right notes, and I'll be listening for style. And I think style kind of trumps right notes at this point, because I just want to get a sense for the flow of the piece. So let's see how each of these people do. We're going to start with Cam the Man, and I wish you all the best of luck. They've never seen this excerpt before, and I went ahead and did a little bit of work for them, and I transposed it out to their instrument.
Full tempo, full stop, no stop, can't stop, won't stop. We're just going to head into it, and I will see you on the other side. Pressing play on the backing
So
track.
he's going to go straight into the backing track. I am noticing that Cam is articulating everything, and I left it, I didn't leave any articulation markings, so I guess that's technically correct. It starts and ends in a nice friendly key, F major, and then it gets a little bit hairy in the middle. I like how Cam is adding all these little boo and little falls. It's kind of cool. It's stylistic. I'd say it's fine. They're not written at all, but I think they can definitely work.
What's that old saying about jazz? It's not about the notes you play, it's about the notes you don't play. Well, I might not play a lot of these notes, but I will continue trying my hardest. Okay.
I think that's more about like improv, but yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, even like, the notes are there. They're definitely there. The style's a little herky-jerky. Like he's like articulating too much. All right, go time. Here we go. Wow.
Okay, you know what? I'll actually take that.
Okay, I
and
see
then it's
you.
open for solos after that.
And so, Cam, in conclusion, a lot of really good stuff here. Like, you have a lot of the right elements that I'm looking for. The rhythm is really spot on. It's like almost like too spot on, if you know what I mean. Very like metronomically, and it's almost kind of like it's on the front end, which is surprising because I know, Cam, you usually kind of like rely on, laying things back, which is great for the majority of things. And in this, I think that's kind of what would help your style come across as a little less like frantic, hectic, if you just laid back just a little bit. I did enjoy though, each of those long notes had a little bit of like kind of like a crescendo through it, and that kind of gave it a nice forward energy, maybe to the detriment of like having too much forward energy, but and even like the little syncopations like on the second line, dee dum da da, those little kind of like accents you added gave a lot of like clarity, and I think that's exactly what it needs when you have any kind of like repeated notes. Cam laying it down and kind of like setting the bar pretty high. So Alex, I have high hopes for you. I know you excel in some jazz style. Gonna be pretty tough on trombone, so we'll see how you handle it. All right, here we go. Alex's take starting now. With the clap.
So
the
for
real
this
book.
Week's challenge, Chris is having us bust out the jazz chops, so I'm bringing out my real book here. Pristine, untouched, unused, unlearned. We're trying to do Joy Spring.
Yeah,
so
his real book still has the cover on it. Mine kind of fell off, so I guess maybe that's a sign of well-loved real book. Pretty good at the gate. He's starting with the singing approach. I think I definitely subscribe to the if you can sing it, you can play it kind of deal. Also, points for the shirt, Alex. Very nice swag.
All right.
Yeah, I just don't know how trombone players do this in general. It's kind of like a little bit of a turn, but like you have to kind of like lip trill it.
Those little triplets, I'm just kind of tossing those off. I don't know. I'm not gonna try and articulate all that.
Yeah,
mess.
as you shouldn't. You should not articulate all that. Yeah.
I like the way that lies.
Yeah, right?
Nice.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, like this melody definitely utilizes a lot of really nice, colorful tones. Not just like, root third, fifth, seventh, but like a lot of like, like nines.
If I treat the triplets like, just swung eighths with some turns in there.
That's a good way to think about it, yeah.
Not so bad, right?
Yeah. Kind of like an eighth note with a little bit of an embellishment on it, yeah. Yeah, good strategy there. Leave the embellishments out. See if you can get kind of the core structure, the bones of the melody there. Then you have something to kind of like build your foundation around. Really nice swing style too. I noticed that you're not really like tonguing every single note. Kind of like a little bit of what Cam did. But I can definitely see the valves of like a tuba or even a trumpet or a horn would be beneficial for this, because the trombone slide, that's tough. Alright, get back on. Oh no. You gonna solo? Oh no. Oh, he's dancing it out. It's all good. All right, we'll stop it there. So not too bad. That definitely gets a hashtag valiant effort. You definitely tried to stay on the train. Train was going a little bit too fast for where you're going, but I could definitely see like you, the work that you put in, kind of like outlining like the structure of the melody. Like minus all the ornaments, kind of like stayed in place, even in the heat of battle. But it did get away from you towards the end there, and in the end, Joy Spring won. All right, French horn up next. We got some valves, so that might be helpful.
I studied at Michigan with one of the current guys, Adam
Yes.
Unsworth. So I have a little bit of experience with
Good
kind of
name
the
drop.
style and how to approach this, because it's really easy as a horn player to just try and play this like a classical tune. My game plan is to take it real slow at the beginning, try and go all the way through the whole tune. I'll probably slur through it a little under tempo, just to try and get the pitches in my ear, because I think that's going to be the biggest challenge.
Slow practice is the way. This is the way. Yeah, so I did transpose this part for him and for everybody else, and so I kind of like, I had a choice to make. I like decided to put it in the higher register of the horn because I thought it might speak a little bit better. That might not have been the best idea, but he sounds like he's getting all those intervals pretty well. So, and like he said too, like you could play probably like this whole like melody on the horn with like one fingering, because that's just how the horn is. I do like how he's not playing da 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 like every single note like very like straight and accurately. It's very much gestural, and I think that's exactly the right style approach. So points for style. Okay, good. So we got a little bit of singing going on. Singing is always a good thing. A couple of misfires, but in general, the style's pretty nice. I do like that he's not like articulating every single note, not da 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 da, which tends to be a little bit more kind of herky jerky, kind of like we heard a little bit from Cam.
I know that it's most important to stay in rhythm, so that will be mission numero
Oh, good.
uno.
Yeah, that is one of my two criterias. Style's good, and then right there up with there is rhythm accuracy. He's hanging with it. Very nice. Okay, go through the bridge. Yeah. Okay.
You're not getting a solo out of me today.
I think the phrase that I would kind of like summarize that whole experience of listening to that is just fake it till you make it. He had the shape in his head. He knew how he wanted it to sound, right? He sung it a couple times. What's nice about this melody too is that it's so repetitive that once you kind of like you get that first repetition in, you kind of know how it goes. It just changes keys a lot. And that's where maybe the horn was a little bit of an advantage, because you can finger like, any fingering and like basically get any note in that range. So I think he was kind of faking it a little bit with the alternate fingerings and whatnot. But it was still pretty coherent, and he started and he ended right on the track. I know Alex kind of fell off the track a little bit towards the end, but Scaby did a really good job of just like keeping with it. And for that, I give you my ultimate condolences. Congratulations for staying with that. We'll go on to our last competitor, which is the trumpet. We'll see how this goes. I know we had a costume change. We had, he was wearing a suit and a bow tie. That's not the case anymore.
All right.
Now it's a European popped collar and a long tie.
So, this week it is the all-time favorite, Your Spring.
That's
by
the all-time
Clifford
favorite.
Brown. We're playing here with just ahead of it here with the Tuba and brass.
All right, we see another person approaching with the singing approach. I think that was almost universal all around all the members of the quintet, so I think that's a strong way to start. And like I said, like once you get that melody in your head, it just makes it a lot easier to kind of hang with all the key changes. I don't know if it's intentional, but he's adding some little ba ba little like flicks. I think that's very stylistic. Good accuracy on that arpeggio. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, like it's a very colorful melody. Like, you have that over D7, you have that E flat, that flat 9. I think that's a very nice kind of color note. Chromatically goes nicely, voice leading wise into the next G major section. I do like how he's also kind of like ripping through those more like ornamental figures. Yeah, nice. Good turn. Okay, adding some of those stylistic kind of scoops and things. I think that's all fine. I would just say a word of caution to anybody doing this excerpt, this head from the real book is don't overly stylize things. You still want it to be like structurally intact, especially if you're doing it in any kind of audition. Just keep it true to the true nature of the piece. And then, if you're soloing or whatever, that's your time to really show off and, show that you're technically proficient and like you can outline the chord changes and whatnot. All right, best of luck. And I see you're not using the track, so noted. That's part of the instructions. I won't disqualify you, but I would have liked to hear it with the track, I think. Wow, very nice. Not bad at all. That was a very solid take. Like not too like metronomic, very gestural and stylistically correct. And 2, rhythm was good. Throughout the whole thing, rhythm stayed good. You kept the same tempo the whole way through. I wish it would have been with the track. So it's gonna be a tough choice to make now that I must now compute. I've seen everybody's takes, and we will discuss and announce the winner in just a second. So welcome to the final part of today, and probably the part you've been waiting very patiently for, is the announcing of the winner. And so we saw a lot of great things all around. Everybody really brought their A game today. I feel like since I transposed the excerpt this week, everybody had a little bit more of an even playing field. So we saw Cam, he had great accuracy. The style was a little bit lacking, it was a little bit herky-jerky, but everything was very clean. We had Alex, who really had, kind of the opposite. It was like really great style, but some of the notes weren't there, and the slide presented some issues that were kind of difficult to overcome in just 5 minutes. Skib had very great style. I think that's, partially because of his Disneyland band experience, being part of the college band. But he had great shape to his melody. He knew exactly how he wanted it to sound. Just some of the notes didn't come out in the fingering, so he really was able to fake it till he made it. So really valiant efforts there. And Sven was very stylistically accurate and very clean. The only thing I have going against him is that he didn't use the backing track. So I have to decide which of those evils is unforgivable. And so it's basically, in my mind, down to Cam the Tuba Man and Sven the big bad Danish wolf. Mr. Editor, could we please get a drum roll? The winner for the jazz edition of the Excerpt Challenge today is Sven. And I'll tell you why. He did a great job of basically producing the excerpt with great style. The embellishments are all there, stylistically correct, and all the notes were there too. A teeny tiny bit slower than the backing track would have had him do, but I think it was close enough that had he done it with the track, it wouldn't have really made much of a difference. So there you have it, Sven. You were the winner. Enjoy those bragging rights. They are very sweet while the time lasts. So thank you guys so much for watching today. It's been a blast listening to all these people play jazz, and I hope you learned something, and maybe you know, are interested in picking up a real book yourself. Mine kind of broke during the course of the challenge, so I need to kind of like rebind it. But thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment down below, subscribe, like this video, it really helps us out, and until next time, see you guys.